June 22nd, 2017. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 129 of You Can Bet On That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet On That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
First off, thanks to all the well wishes that we've gotten from everyone. My foot is a lot better.
Yeah, that's good.
It still hurts, almost a month later, but I'm out of the boot, and it does seem to be getting better. How are you feeling, Dr. Mike?
I'm the same, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting. I had an MRI this week, and I'm waiting for the surgeon. So.
Okay. All right. So your back's still bugging you quite a bit. Shoulder kind of back area.
Still, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
it hasn't stopped us from going to the casino.
no,
at
of course
all.
not. We're not crazy.
Yeah, it's not like we've lost our minds or anything.
Well, I hope you feel better. Let's make this the last we talk about our medical ailments,
Yeah.
at least on this episode.
Until I actually have to have surgery, and then we miss an episode.
Well, maybe I'll bring all the equipment to the hospital
There you
room
go.
so we can still record. I'll just put the mic right in your face. So since our last episode, one of the big stories is that the Floyd Mayweather Conor McGregor fight is now on.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of speculation about this, and it's going to be on August 26th. Now, when it was first announced, I didn't actually see what the odds were on it, but of course, Mayweather is a heavy favorite.
Sure.
Because it's a boxing match,
Right.
and McGregor's a UFC fighter, and Mayweather's actually a boxer.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like a guy it's a handyman versus like a professional contractor.
Okay,
right?
all right. Yeah, that might be a good analogy.
They can both do that particular thing, but one is an expert at it. The other guy, he does a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, it's funny.
I'm not that interested in it, to be honest.
Yeah, well, who knows? Well, it's going to be a huge fight. They're going to make
Yeah.
tons of money, and tons of people are going to pay for it.
It's a spectacle.
It's a spectacle,
It's
yeah.
a spectacle.
And this
is what it
kind of goes into what we're going to talk about next. I did not see the initial opening odds on this fight. And in fact, I think there were actually odds posted before it was officially announced because it was rumored that it might be happening, right? And supposedly the initial line was Mayweather minus 2250. That's 2,250, right? And McGregor plus 950. All right, so when it was announced, the next morning, I was getting ready for work and I had Sports Center on in the back. It's funny because one of the guys was saying, oh gosh, it's like Michael Phelps versus Usain Bolt.
Right.
And I'm thinking, well, it's not quite that bad, right?
Yeah, it's not quite that bad, but it's a weird mix.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that morning, so it was the morning after they announced it, on Sports Center, they actually said that Mayweather was minus 1,100 and McGregor was plus 700. And a bell went off in my mind thinking, hey, wait a second. When you've got odds that are that sort of lopsided,
right,
there might be an opportunity there. Kind of like what happened, we talked about on an episode quite a while ago, kind of what happened when the Chargers went to the Super Bowl.
Correct.
They were big underdogs and the 49ers were heavy favorites. So I'm looking at this line, minus 1,100 plus 700. And I immediately got onto Twitter and I said, hey, this might be an advantage play. Not something we could do because we don't have access to bet on
you'd have to
boxing.
Go bet it right then. Yeah.
And we could get on some kind of online thing or find a bookie or anything, but we certainly didn't have anything in line. But I went on Twitter and I said, hey, this might be an opportunity. Put some money on McGregor at plus 700.
Sure.
And then just wait for the line to drop.
Right.
And once Mayweather gets below minus 700,
yeah,
then
Mayweather.
You can bet on Mayweather, and then if you make the totals of your bet correct, you are guaranteed to win.
Right.
No matter who wins,
right,
you're guaranteed to win on your bet. Now it's the kind of thing where you would probably have to put up quite a bit of money to win just a little. But I'm thinking the opportunity's there because think about it, Mike. You said this was a spectacle.
Yeah.
So a spectacle always brings out a lot of amateur bettors.
Exactly.
Right? People who don't normally bet on stuff.
Right.
So you're looking at this fight and thinking, oh boy, yeah, Mayweather's going to win. But you're a casual bettor and you're thinking, wait, what? I've got to bet $110 to win $10?
Right.
I'm risking $110 to, well, I'm not going to bet that. I'm just going to bet McGregor.
Right, and hope he wins.
Yeah, I could bet $100 and then I'd win $700.
Right. And
so,
if he loses, I'm just going to lose my 100. It's worth the risk.
It's worth the risk. So that's what, regardless of what you think is the outcome is going to be in this fight, that's what a lot of these casual bettors are thinking. So, of course, all the money is going on McGregor.
Right.
And sure enough, that day, some people were saying that they saw some online odds that already had Mayweather under minus 700. And in fact, when I was looking today, I found at least one place that had Mayweather at minus 550. And McGregor, it's 375. Okay. So it's kind of too late to take advantage of this advantage play.
Right.
But
I'm sure there are people who did.
Oh, I'm sure there are who saw that and knew exactly what was going on. Especially,
and if we lived in Vegas, we would have bet that day.
Oh, yeah. We would have the day they announced it. Or, exactly. And put as much, again, you got to put out a lot of money, and it still has to happen. There was no guarantee when the fight was first announced that this situation would happen.
Right.
But sure enough, it has. So anybody who bet big on McGregor when the line first came out can now bet on Mayweather and be guaranteed to win.
Mayweather. Yeah.
You gonna watch the fight?
I don't know. Probably.
But I mean, you're certainly not going to pay for it, are you?
No, I'm not going to pay for it.
Okay.
No way.
Yeah.
Stuff like this just does not interest me. It'd be like, Michael Jordan playing baseball.
Okay. That's kind of a good example.
He was a great basketball player.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go to a baseball game just to see Michael Jordan play baseball. When he went to play, he wasn't a good baseball player.
No.
I mean, he was a big name and everything. And this is, if it's a boxing match, then of course Mayweather's going to win.
Yeah,
and if it was an MMA fight where they could get down on the ground, then I'd put all my money on McGregor.
Yeah, sure.
Because he'd get Mayweather down on the ground and pummel him. So because it's just boxing, I don't think it's going to be that interesting.
Yeah,
I just can't see it being. A professional boxer as good as Mayweather, he's just going to tag this guy like crazy.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. I mean, I certainly don't have an opinion one way or the other because I don't follow either sport, but you're basically echoing most people's opinion.
Yeah. And I think McGregor can take a punch too.
Sure.
So it might go the whole distance.
Maybe that's what some people are saying is maybe you bet on it going the whole
distance. Yeah. Because he can take a punch. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. So he may just be a punching bag for Mayweather for whatever, 12 rounds or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, when you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link kind of towards the top of the page. All right, we've got a ton of voicemails.
Yeah, we didn't get to many last time.
We didn't get to any. We didn't take any calls last time,
That's
right?
Not many,
I let you go
Zero
home.
is not many.
That's right. Remember, call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is our buddy Taylor.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Taylor from New Mexico. So I saw you guys about 3 hours ago at Bally's, and we came back to Green Valley Ranch, and I wanted to get some last-minute gambling done. So I played craps, and there was one guy who was playing Don't Pass, and I lost that guy so much money. So I was rolling. I didn't notice him doing whatever he was doing. And then I made a point at 4, and he counted his money, threw down, and the boxman says, "How much is it?" $1,200. Says, "Send it," without counting it. He says, "Just send it." So sent it. So he has $1,200 odds on the Don't Pass, and I'm just rolling it without saying anything, and I made a point. So he lost that. And then he has some chips still, so he's a little disgusted by now. He lost probably 2 or 3 points in a row. And then I made 10 next time, and he threw down everything he had, and the boxman said, "How much is it?" And one of the dealers like, he doesn't know. At that point, the boxman made a call because the table max was 5,000, so he might have been over 5,000, so he made a quick call, and he said, "Okay, we'll play it." So he laid everything on the 10. And I'm still just throwing while they're counting. I just put my head down without looking at the dice on the other side. I'm just listening to the stickman, what he calls. And I'm making, 8s and 9s. And they count it all. $4,200. He laid $4,200 on the 10 at that point. And I'm just sick to my stomach at this point. And a few rolls later, I made 10. And he walked out. So what I know is I lost him about $5,400 plus whatever. But yeah, I made about $60 on it, so hey, it's all good. In this case, would you feel bad? I don't know. I play whatever I want to, and he played whatever he wants, so I'm okay with this. I think I'm okay now. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Thank you for your podcast. Bye.
Yeah, never feel bad
Right.
that when you're rolling and you lose money, a don't player loses money.
Right.
Because, first of all, the rolls are random,
Right.
right? But even maybe more importantly, he knows what you're trying to do. He can
Right.
see that you're on the pass line.
Right,
So
exactly.
he knows what you want, and
Right.
he has chosen to bet on the don't.
Right.
So that was
Well,
his
it's
choice.
just like people who always say, "Oh, I feel bad. I 7'd out right away." Well, everybody's done
Everybody
that.
does, right?
Right. So you can't. It's just the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And hopefully that amount of money he lost didn't affect him that much.
Yeah, if he's putting that much money out there and he's a don't player, you figure
Yeah.
he's spent a little time at the craps table.
Right. And he probably has that money to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't happy losing, obviously.
No, of course not,
But
but-
he probably just went somewhere else
Yeah.
and,
yeah.
played.
No, never feel bad.
No.
Never, and you make a good point, right? Never feel bad for however you rolled, because
No.
despite what some people might think, really it's random and you don't
Yeah.
have control over it.
Right.
So.
Exactly.
All right, next up, Jason.
Gentlemen, how you doing? This is Jason from Orange County, California. Long-time fan, listening to the show for a long time, first time calling in. I wanted to touch on a topic you guys covered a couple months ago on shoot-to-win craps. I actually just got done in a session with Pachanga, and I was very surprised to see a shoot-to-win craps in California, since it is actually dice that are making the outcome. The Pachanga machine is $5 minimum and double odds, but you can do $1 on the hard ways, but also $1 minimum on the field, which I found surprising. I played at a couple of these machines over the last year or so, and I noticed you can pretty much set the machine up however you want. Played at the Luxor, it was a $2 minimum with 3-time odds. Red Rock in Vegas had a $1 minimum with double odds. So all over the place you see these machines set up with different settings. So it's interesting to see different properties and how they have them set up. But again, I was surprised to see it in California, where cards have got to make the outcome. Went to the craps table with Pachanga, made a couple $100. One question I had for you was, at the Pachanga, they have 5 times odds across the board. So every number that you put a pass line bet on, you can do a 5 times odds wager. So if you bet a nickel and it comes 5 or 9, they'll actually let you put $30 odds, which is actually 6 times odds. So I was wondering what the advantage is there, percentage-wise. How much advantage is there to actually putting the 30 odds versus $20 odds, like 5-4-3 normal setup? On my way to the Harrah's right now, where I know you guys like to play. One thing I like about them is they have chairs. You can sit down the whole time, and they actually have a triple pay on the field for the 12. So some advantages there. Going to go there and get a buffet and see how it goes. Enjoy, gentlemen.
Here's the thing when you talk about odds. Like, okay, higher odds. So what's the increase in advantage, or the decrease in the house edge? Here's the thing, though. You can't really talk about numbers like that because it gets confusing. Right. If you've got, say, $5 on the pass line and the point's 5 and you can back it up with 4 times odds, so you have $20 out there. Okay, well, the house edge on your total $25 is less than 1%, right? Because, it's the combination. But really, the $5 on the pass line is still a 1.41% house advantage when you make the bet. Not once a point's been established. That changes.
Right.
But it's 1.41% when you make the bet and you haven't seen an outcome. And the odds, there's no house advantage.
No, because it's true odds.
Right. So, okay, you have $20 out there. Now, let's say instead you can have 6 times odds, and now you can take $30 out there.
Right.
All right, well, the house edge on your total $35 now is less.
Right.
But you've got more out there. It's $35.
Right.
So, how much of an advantage? There really isn't. The house edge may go down, but you're putting more out there. So we talk about how it's great that places offer, 100 times odds. It's just nice that they allow you to bet more on this bet that they don't have an edge on.
Right.
But you're not really lowering the house edge on your pass line bet.
Right.
It's just on the total bet. Yeah, you're lowering your edge, but you're also betting more. So,
right. I always look at it this way. In my mind, it's a great that I can bet more when it wins, when I made my point.
Sure.
And when I don't make my point, it's like, crap. I wish they had double odds, right?
So I didn't lose
as much.
And
so
that is the other thing, too. When you talk about higher odds that are offered, that really messes with your variance as well.
Right.
That goes up quite a bit.
Right. That's the big crux.
And that
the variance.
Right, because that affects your bankroll.
Right.
So
yeah.
It's better 6 times versus 4 times.
Right.
But better, on paper, that doesn't mean that you're going to win more in the long run because there is no edge on those odds
because it's
bet.
true odds. odds. Yeah, it's going to be the same in the long run.
Right.
The funny thing is, it's true. It's like you said, it's variance. So if you've got a lot of cash, if your bankroll is pretty big, you love those higher odds, right?
Yeah.
But if your bankroll's not as big, the higher odds doesn't mean anything to you because
Yes.
your variance would be so poor, you'd get wiped out a lot quicker, right?
And
with bad
we've talked about that. The Cromwell 100 times odds.
Right.
That can actually work for you. Eventually, maybe you'll get up to that point. I'm never going to be putting that much out for odds. There's no way.
Yeah,
so really, it doesn't matter.
You would
to me.
if you had a super hot roll.
Yeah,
but
it'd have to be
unlikely.
super hot. And it'd have to be pressing.
One thing, so Jason's at Harris. Why haven't we seen him?
Yeah, what are all these people coming to Harrah's and we've never met them before? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you need
they
to.
must not come on weekends.
Well, come on a Friday or Thursday or Saturday. Find out when we're going to be there.
Check with us maybe up front. So he's talking about the shoot to win craps. It's like, well, how can they be legal in California? Well, whether they are or not, I'm thinking what the casino is thinking is, okay, the law is that table games must be card based.
Right. And this is not a table game, it's a machine
It's a
game.
machine, right. Yeah. Exactly. That's why you also see roulette machines that use a real ball that goes around a roulette wheel. So, yeah.
I was thinking about the shoot to win craps at Harris today at work.
Yeah, they now have one at Harris. That's
They have one at Harris. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking, we should probably go over there and play that. And then the more I thought about it, I thought, that'd be so stupid. Because here's the thing. Number one, for me, I don't want to feed a bunch of $100 bills in that machine.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Because if you're going to bet 120 on a 6 or something, and you're going to do 150 on an 8, and you got to put a bunch of 100. I mean, I'd have to load that baby up with a lot of hundreds, right?
That's true.
First off, it's just easier to do with chips on a table.
Yes.
Plus, even though I have a line of credit, I can't use it at that machine because there's no pit boss there.
That's right.
So, it just doesn't make sense for me to go play there.
We should probably play it once, or one of us just do it just for journalistic reasons, just to see, some of the specifics about it, because we've heard about, you buying numbers and kind of the strange payouts, and I want to see what all the minimums are. So maybe we'll have to do that
use
one
some
time.
Free play on it.
Yeah, that's another thing is, let's use some free play and see how that works on it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right, next call.
Hey guys, this is Jimmy from Chicago calling again. This time I'm calling for a trip report from my brother. I told him about the $10 sports betting trick at Excalibur, which I've called in previously and told you guys about. And he's like me, mostly sports bettor. He was out there this time, and they were actually pretty much handing them out. He would do a $5 sports bet. Sir, would you like a drink ticket? Sure. He placed $250 in a sports bets ticket, and the guy asked him, are you going to be drinking here for a while? He said, yeah. So they handed him 7 tickets for $250. I thought that was amazing. He went across the street to MGM and was placing some sports bets there, and I think he said he bet about $70, and he asked for a ticket, and they told him no, they couldn't give him one, he had to bet $100. And I'm wondering, if they're both the same MGM property, I'm just wondering why is it so loose at different areas. And one thing he did notice, just the average recreational gambler who will bet a sports future bet, I'm a Packers fan from Chicago, give me my craps, whatever. They're 5-1 at Excalibur. Okay, so he went to the Westgate to see if he could put my bet in from either 10-1. It's just a huge disparity in the future bet for MLB, for all sports all around. Now the average lines, they're pretty close to what they are at the sports books and other places, because I'm pretty sure they could get hammered pretty hard, if they put up a bad line there. So, so I was just calling to let you guys know how that trip went for him, and thanks guys, love the show. Bye.
Yeah, Jimmy makes a good point about... So if you just wanted to bet on the Cubs-Padres game today, the line you find is pretty much going to be the same anywhere.
Almost the same everywhere.
But futures bets, it definitely pays to shop around. Well, we're just talking about this fight, right? McGregor-Mayweather. Right. You want to shop, if you wanted to bet on one of them right now, you should shop around because you're going to find some very different totals.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works. And the point he made about two properties owned by the same company having totally different
policies
as far as, and stuff. It drives us crazy.
I know you really don't like it because some of the rules are different between games.
Some of the rules are actually different.
On the table
games. It's not just policy like, giving a drink ticket.
Yeah.
They actually change the rules.
Yeah.
You go from one place to the next and the rules are different. The payouts are different. Like, it's the same company.
Yeah, I know it's the same company, but there's no guy at Caesars who's in charge of, all the table games at all the casinos.
Right.
They leave that to the individual casinos to kind of develop policy with probably some recommendations limitations and some overall rules. But
Yeah.
no, I know what you mean. It does.
It's
yeah.
frustrating. You think they'd be somewhat similar, right?
Yeah, but that is good news about Excalibur being pretty generous with the drink tickets.
Well,
so,
I've
yeah,
always
definitely.
we've said this before. I like Excalibur.
When's the last time we were there?
It's been a long time. I don't like its location.
Okay, yeah,
Boy,
because
if
we seem to
Excalibur-
never be down that way.
Yeah,
That's
if
true.
Excalibur had the same layout, same rules, same benefits, everything, and it was mid-strip, we'd be there all the time.
Yeah, yeah. I don't.
I like playing
It's
there.
been a while, but we still hear good things about $5 minimums on the craps tables and
Right.
and good dealers.
And maybe
so,
some of that is, and maybe the drink tickets too. Maybe it's because where they're located,
Yeah,
right?
maybe,
maybe
yeah.
they're trying to get people down to that end.
maybe, but then again, MGM's kitty corner from
Yeah,
it, right?
it's not
And
that far away.
All right, let's hear from Ryan.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Ryan from Ontario, California again. Hey, just had a couple questions for you. When you're on the craps table, how superstitious are you? I mean, if, you roll the dice off the table or something, do you have to get the same dice? Or if the dealer is handing you the dice for your roll and he accidentally tips it over to 7, do you make sure he has to take it back, kind of shuffle it, and then give it back to you? Just wondering how you guys are with that. Also, with the don't pass, how do you guys feel about people who play don't pass shooting? Because I know a lot of people who play don't pass don't like to shoot. Just wondering your take on that. My last question was, what happened to Keno in restaurants and buffets in Vegas? I mean, that used to be such a big thing. I kind of noticed that doesn't happen anymore. So I wonder if you guys knew anything about that. Anyways, I'd love to play craps with you guys sometime. What I'm going to do, if I ever meet up with you guys, hopefully at one of these events in Vegas, or you know what, I might even cruise down to Harrah's, Southern California, because I'm over by San Manuel Indian Casino. I'm about 2 hours away, not too bad, but I really want to play with you guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put $25 for each of you when we play together on hard 6. If it hits, I already know, Dr. Mike, you're going to parlay it. That's good. Mark, you can take it, you can, let it ride, you could parlay it, whatever you want. But that money's, you can either use that for your show or, gamble it. Hell, I don't care. It's for you guys. I just hope we can play sometime and have some drinks, have a good time. All right, guys, thanks a lot.
Oh, thanks, Ryan. I'm collecting.
Yeah, I know you'll
yeah.
collect, and
Yeah,
I'm parlaying, and I'm buying all the drinks that night.
Oh, nice.
So-
yeah, that's true. Because Harrah's, Southern California, they aren't free.
They
a lot
aren't
of times
free.
you say, yeah, well, drinks for everybody, but
yeah.
it's free. But no, at Harrah's, California, you got to pay for the booze.
Yeah,
so, all
now
right.
I'll buy the drinks. I'll buy the drinks. You collect the money.
All right. Let's work our way backwards on some of these questions. Yeah, Keno. We talked about Keno on one of our very earliest episodes where we were talking about dying games.
Yeah.
You really do not see it much anymore.
I understand not having Keno lounges because it takes a staff to run that and it's kind of slow. What I don't understand is Keno in the restaurants.
Well, you may
They
have,
should still have that.
I agree, but I think you've answered your own question, right? You have to have
I know.
runners,
You have to
and
have
it's a staff.
But in a restaurant, it's no different than having like another busboy and another waitress. You only need 2 people.
Yeah.
You need one at the desk and one to run around on the tables, right? And you don't have to have it open all the time either. Maybe just at peak hours when
Yeah.
the restaurant's busy. But it's a fun thing to do when you're in a cafe. Now, I understand the steakhouse isn't going to have it.
Sure, if you're at a super
But-
fancy place, they're
But
not
the
going to have it, right?
cafes and the buffets, they should have Keno runners.
Yeah, especially on the Strip, you kind of have to go downtown to find some of these Keno, restaurants that have Keno in them anymore. But that's what I'm thinking. It's the overhead that's
Yeah.
probably just not worth it.
I'm sure.
Plus, video Keno now, right? That's pervasive,
Right.
And
you can play Keno in your room, the video Keno in your room.
can you?
Yeah, remember we've
Well, no, we actually bought
Well, I mean,
tickets and then
tickets.
went up to our room and watched.
And
I'm talking
watched it.
about a machine where it has like video poker
Poker,
and
right.
video Keno,
Right.
And you can just play right there as fast as you want. I mean, that's.
But I mean, they shouldn't get rid of Keno.
I agree with you, but I think those are the reasons.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the reason.
Yeah.
The casinos are so tight. But then again, they waste so much stinking money on other stuff.
Yeah, well, here's why I talked about it, right? It's the Strip. The Strip's kind of shifting a little bit away from gambling, so maybe Keno is the first obvious thing to go.
Right. What's
Yeah.
next?
But is even money blackjack? That's what's coming next.
Yeah, even money blackjack.
I think that might be it. Okay, so what do we think of players who shoot from the don't? I don't have a problem with players who shoot
I
from
kind
the
of
don't.
enjoy it, especially when they hammer themselves.
See, that's the thing. I just can't understand why you would want to.
Yeah. I mean, I actually like when someone shoots. So I always tell Mark, now watch, they're going to have a monster roll. They're going to wipe themselves out, feel like crap, and then leave.
That is the thing, is that you could be a don't shooter
Right.
and actually lose all your money.
Right.
Right.
Right. I mean, why would you shoot from the don't?
Well, I mean, some people just like to shoot and they
Yeah.
think they're bad shooters. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I rolled sevens,
Yeah,
so
right.
I don't have a problem with it, but yeah, I just don't understand. why
Yeah,
people do it.
my favorite thing is a don't shooter who gets the dice, puts their money on the don't, rolls like 3 sevens, okay? Then finally rolls a 6.
Mm-hmm.
They don't take it.
Oh, they say no action?
No action.
Well, they can't do
'Cause-
that, right? If they're rolling, they have to.
if
They can't say no action
that's
on the
true.
don't pass.
They have to have one.
Yeah, they
right?
have to have a don't pass bet
But
at
you know,
least. Yeah.
but then they go up on one number. They don't take odds. They don't lay odds on
Yeah.
the 6 because it's a 6. So,
Okay, right.
So oh God, 6 will come up, and then the next roll 7 out.
Yes,
and
it's-
they won 1 bet and lost 3. I just oh my God.
Now, as far as superstitions go, neither of us is superstitious at all.
Well, except you now.
Having said that, I will, just for the overall happiness of the table, if I'm rolling and I'm having a really good roll and one of the dice goes off the table, I will say same dice.
Yeah, how about turning your bets off?
I'm getting to that, all right, sir? I'm getting to that. So I will do that. And again, it's like, it doesn't matter. And then if I 7 out, it's well, I tried, right? But if I didn't say it and I 7 out, everybody's going to complain. So I'll do that.
For the last 30 years,
yeah.
I have seen you play craps and never turn your bets off.
My new
ever.
thing.
But the last couple months.
My new thing. I've been playing a lot of place bets lately, which I haven't in the past. Usually it's come bets, but we've been playing at some $25 tables, and so we've talked about this. So I kind of changed my strategy and make some place bets. So sure enough, every time the dice go off the table, or every time there's a stick change,
Yeah, I love that.
I say, my bets are off this roll.
Yeah. And that's because you think on a stick change, the next roll is going to be a 7.
No, it's not. Okay. It is not. But here's why I do it. It reduces the amount of exposure I have to a negative EV game.
Yeah.
Without costing anything.
Yeah. But you could do that on every roll and reduce the amount of exposure you have on a negative
Yeah, but I
EV
like
game.
playing the game, right? Doesn't affect my rating.
Right.
Here's the other thing is that when a 7 out does come up, I look like a genius. All right.
Okay.
So superstitious or otherwise, Mike, you tell me this last week when we went, did it help me or did it hurt me?
Oh, it helped you big time.
Big time. There were so many 7
I
outs when I
probably would have saved $1,000 if I had done the same thing, right?
Yep. It just said
Easily, because the first 2 or 3 times you did that didn't make a difference.
It didn't make a difference
It was
either
like-
way. Like
yeah, it's
11 would come up,
yeah,
right?
or a
It didn't
3
matter.
would come up. You
Mhm,
didn't
yeah,
win or
right,
lose.
Right.
Then there was one roll where you turned them off and like a 6 came
I think it was a 4. I actually had a buy bet on a 4. So yeah.
So yeah,
mhm.
you lost
I didn't
that.
win
And then
the
we
4.
talked about it, and I said, well, now you lost that. But the next time you did it,
Every
you had
time after
4
that.
bets.
Every
Every
time,
time
yeah.
after that, you'd have
Yeah.
4 bets up there. You'd turn them off, and then sure enough, 7 would come, and you saved 4 bets.
Yeah.
So yeah, it helped you big time.
Yeah, it did.
Now, is that superstitious?
No,
It's
it's just luck that happened this time. But you even mentioned this too. The thing is, when you call the bets off and the next roll is one of the numbers you had, well, you only missed out on a small wager.
Right.
Whereas if it had been a 7, you save a ton.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I should probably do it too. Seriously, just
Yeah.
because. So I didn't collect $150 that time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when it does work, I save like 500. Right.
Yeah.
So
And then the people around the table who are superstitious are thinking,
Right.
oh yeah, he knows what
he
he's
knows
doing.
what he's doing. I'm going to do what that guy does.
That's right. All right. Next call.
Hey guys, this is Josh from Chicago. I was just calling in to ask you a question. I'm a novice craps player. I'm from Alabama originally. We don't have any gambling in Alabama, so I'm new to a lot of it. I've gambled on roulette a couple times in New Orleans, and I get the gist of craps. I've finally learned a little bit. And what I've been doing is playing the field and playing the high-lows, just the basic novice bets. Now, this last time I played at the Horseshoe in Hammond, Indiana, and I was playing by one of the dealers, and he was telling me that I'm betting on pretty much one of the worst bets in the house other than some of the prop bets. And I asked him why, and he told me that a better bet would be the pass line, don't pass line, some calm bets. And I get the gist of it. I feel a little more confident with the field bet just because I understand it a little bit better. So my question is, when you guys started playing, how did you get more comfortable with playing the pass line or placing your bets on numbers? Really, like, how did you get more comfortable with just playing the field? Love the show. Can't wait to hear from a response. Thanks so much.
The field bet is a very easy bet to understand.
Right. And I think that's why novice players are attracted to it. I mean, it's you win or you lose, right?
Yeah, on the next roll.
Right.
And when we're explaining the game to new players, I do explain the field as one of the first things, not because I think it's a good bet, but just because it's very simple. And
Right.
you kind of work your way up to the more complicated bets. But it is a bad bet.
As far as house edge,
it's more than a 2% house edge, and if it's only double on the 2 or 12, it's over 5% house edge.
Right.
So you are much better making pass line bets and come
the
bets.
dealer was not steering you in the wrong direction.
No, he was correct. Now, as far as getting used to it, you just got to play. You just got, and maybe take it easy.
Right.
Maybe, just $5 here. Maybe don't take odds the first few times just to get a sense of it.
Yeah.
But it's, just play some. And if you're still unsure, ask a dealer or, tell him, hey, look, I'm just new to the game.
Right.
Let them know up front. And, they will help you out. Hopefully you'll get a dealer like that who knows what he's talking
I think
about.
we both had pretty similar experiences when we first started gambling. We read a book.
Right.
We both read books. And it's still confusing. I mean, I'm reading a book about craps as we're driving to Vegas.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm thinking, now, how does this work?
There's so much.
There's
Sure.
so much. I was still pretty confused. So when we get there, I'm still not very comfortable, but we made bets, and I think over time you figure it out.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
That's it.
It's not that complicated. That's the thing. It seems very complicated.
It seems complicated because there's so many bets, but the
Right.
basics of the game, basically
Right.
the pass line,
Right.
the ultimate basic to the game,
When
is
we
pretty
used to-
straightforward.
When we used to teach people, we would always say they're games within games.
Right.
So there's a basic game going on where, you put your $5 on the pass line and your 0.6, 6 comes up, you win, 7, you lose. Only thing that matters to that bet is that.
Yep.
Now there's all these other bets going on, but they're just games within this game.
Right.
So if you understand that basic game, that's all you really
Yeah,
need
get the
to
basic
know.
game down.
Yeah, that's all you really
then
need
go
to
from
know.
there.
And then from there you can make other bets.
Yep. All right, a follow-up call from Jason.
Hey, fellas, this is Jason from Orange County again, calling you to recap my trip report to Harrah's, Southern California. I noticed that as soon as I walked in, that they now have a shoot-to-win craps game there as well. I didn't investigate it thoroughly, but I noticed a $5 minimum. I would assume it's double odds, same as many other shoot-to-win craps games. I also got $40 in free play, and normally I would get chips and take it to the craps table, but for your advice on your shows, I got it in slot play. So I took it over to the double-double bonus poker game, and I actually had another $10 free play on my card. So I turned $50 in free play into $47.50 in real cash. So that was a good little free play session, and just had a question about that. What is the advantage of getting your free play in machines as opposed to chips for table games? So if you guys could respond to that question, that'd be great. Thank you very much. Enjoy.
In the case of Harrah's, Southern California,
Yeah, it's very simple, really.
if you get chips for table games, free play chips for table games, they will take that chip. When you make the bet, they will take the chip whether you win or lose the bet.
Right.
And that's the key. So say you get $40 in free play. If you get it for table games, now they're worth roughly $20.
Right.
Because they take it when there's a winner or a loser.
Right. You'd get 8 $5 chips. You go to the craps table. You put that in the pass line. 7's rolled right off the bat. Mm-hmm. They take your free play and they give you a $5
They
chip.
give you, yeah.
2's rolled. You lose your free play.
Yes.
So theoretically, you're only getting about $20.
Yes,
Whereas
right.
if you get it in slot play,
Yes.
it stays in the machine.
Right now, all you have to do is play through it.
Right.
Now, if you are in a situation where the free play chips for table games stay out there when the bet wins,
As is it the case here in San Diego at Hollywood Casino.
and many other casinos too,
Yeah.
then there's really no difference between taking your free play in chips or in slot play. There are probably little minutia here and there, but for the
Right.
most part, for this
Right.
argument, it's the same. So the key is, the reason we do it at Harrah's, Southern California, is table game free play is worth about half its face value.
Yeah. And for us, we're not big slot players. So we're playing video poker.
Yeah, right. Which
And-
is what Jason did.
Yeah, and that's the smart thing to do. But we go and play video poker not because we love video poker. It's just that we get more from our money, and we'll usually turn $300 or $400 of free play into $280 of real
Right,
money.
and this is what Jason said. He had $50. He turned it into $47.50. That's typical. That's actually pretty good.
yeah, that's money you can put in your pocket.
Yeah, right. And every once in a while, maybe you'll hit 4 of a kind. You'll have more, or maybe every once in a while you'll just have a bad run. You'll only get about half that. But much better.
I don't think we've had very few times where we got less than half.
Very few times. Sure.
Very,
Yes.
very few
Yes.
times.
Yeah.
We've had way more times where we've actually got more
Definitely.
than we put in.
Yes, definitely. All right, let's hear from David.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is David from Fort Worth, Texas. I was just calling. First of all, let me say that my favorite podcast by far. You guys are fantastic. I can't wait for your show every 2 weeks. Had a quick trip report and a question. First, I was in Vegas in October of last year, and I finally hit the Make 'em All at the D, my favorite place to play craps. And I was the only one on it on a full table. It was fantastic. I felt like a celebrity.
That's nice.
Kinda. Second question I had. I thought I know everything about craps, but obviously I don't, so I have a question. I was playing at the Plaza, and I was playing pass line with come bets and odds on all the come bets, and I was on 4 numbers, and I hit a point, and then after the point, I rolled a 7 for $5 pass line bet. Well, after I hit the 7, I didn't really pay attention that much, but they took down, I thought, all the odds and gave them back to me, and I think they collected the come bet on the numbers. I'm not sure.
Yes.
But
they did.
I was wanting to know why that is. I thought come bets were off when you were establishing a point, but obviously I'm confused. So hopefully you guys can help me out with that. Once again, appreciate the show and hope to hear back. Thanks.
On the come out roll, the odds on your come bets are off. The puck says off, as are place bets.
As are your place bets.
However, the actual come bets, the base bets,
that's a contract bet, and it's always working.
Always working, just like your pass line bet.
Right.
You can never say, for this roll, my pass line bet's not working.
Right.
Same with come bets. They are always working, come out roll or otherwise. So that is exactly what happened. The odds were off. They can't win or lose on the come out roll, so they returned them to you, and the come bets lost.
And getting back to earlier, a few minutes ago, when you were talking about turning your bets off on the stick change or when the dice go off.
Yeah.
So when Mark turns his bets off, okay, his place bets, they get turned off. And if he had come bets, he could turn his odds off, but he can't turn his base bet off, just like he can't turn his pass line bet off. Mm-hmm. So when that 7 comes and he's off, he says, I'm not working this roll. Mm-hmm. Well, everything's off except that pass line bet. If 7 comes, he does lose his pass line bet.
Right.
And the other night, you almost forgot to take your odds. So if you're
to pick them up when I said I'm off this roll, yeah.
Yeah. So if you ever tell a dealer you're off this roll, they'll turn everything off they can.
Yes.
But your odds in the back, you actually have to physically pick that up and take that off.
And I don't know if you did notice, Mike, but one time when I did call my bets off and there was a 7 out, I actually had placed the point. On the pass line, where you put it on the line, I'd forgotten to pick that one up. So that one did lose.
And that one did lose, yeah.
Taking it one step further, if you want your odds working on the come out roll, you can also tell the dealer to do that.
Right.
Say, hey, my odds are working on the come out roll.
And you can do that for one or all your numbers or whatever you have. You can say just work my 6, or you can say work them all.
Yeah, typically you work them all. But if you only wanted one number, and they'll put a little lammer on your bets to indicate they're on. Just like they take a lammer that says off when I say, oh, my place bets are off this roll, and they put it there. So that's how they can tell. But yeah, back to the question, come bets are always working.
The flat bet's always working.
The flat bet, right.
Yeah, because a lot of people are probably confused the odds as part of their come bet.
Yeah, we talk about,
the flat bet is always working.
The flat bet is always working. The odds
it varies.
Yes, if it's a come out roll, they're automatically off. Yep. All right, next up is Robert. His call kind of breaks up a little bit in the middle, but I think you'll get the gist of it.
Hey, Dr. Mike, this is Robert from Mississippi. I just wanted to call and get y'all a recap from my last Vegas trip. I was actually there for about 4 days just after y'all left. I got there last Wednesday on the 31st. Ended up having a good trip, made a little bit of money, and most of it all boiled down to one night. I actually was at the Paris and about to go to bed for the night and decided to take $25 out of my wallet and go over to the craps table and try and mimic y'all's historic 4 run that you talked about quite a few episodes ago. So I went up, just picked a random table, and the guy was about to start rolling, so I put my money down and bought the 4. 2 or 3 rolls later, he hit his first 4, and so I pressed it up to 50 and took the change back. Immediately rolled another 4, and so I had to press it up to 100. 2 or 3 rolls went by, no big deal, voided the 7s, and sure enough, he hit another 4. Looked at the dealers, and I said, got to go to 200. It wasn't about 2 seconds later, as soon as he got the dice back, he threw another 4. And I started to look at the dealers, and I said, I got to go to 400, right? I actually happened to look at the stick man, and he starts kind of nodding at me and kind of waving me away. And I kind of came back to reality at that point. For a low roller, pretty big deal. So I told him, I said, well, I'll get about 100 yards away, and you give that shooter the dice again. And I said, I don't want to know whether he rolls a 4 or 7. I don't want to know any of it. So I ran away as quick as I could. I tipped the dealers 25. I tipped the shooter 25 and ran away. Made about $700 in about 5 minutes, thanks to y'all's method. And then just as a side note, sure enough, the very next day I ran into that dealer again, grabbing some food on his break. And, I tried to avoid the story, but he told me anyways. And sure enough, he said about 2 or 3 rolls later, that guy 7'd out. So, luckily being as conservative as I was at the time, I got away ahead. So thanks again for all y'all's great stories. And it helped me make a good little pile of money, in about a 5-minute span. So thanks again. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.
I'm glad he won. I can't say that pressing the 4 or the 10 is ever the right thing to do.
Right.
But he played.
God, it's so great when it works out.
It is, though. It's so fun.
It's so fun when it
and
works out. What was it, 2 weeks ago out at RingCon? We both had the 4.
Well, it was on our Vegas trip.
On our Vegas trip, we had it up to 400.
We had it up to 400. Earlier the night before, I had mine up to 1,600.
Right.
You weren't on it, but then the next day when I had that big roll, we were both up 400 on
and I
that.
thought, God, that's going to hit.
Yeah.
As soon as it hit, I was going to go to 8, and then from 8, I was just going to go right to the max.
Oh, you really? Oh, well, we didn't quite get there.
We didn't quite get it.
But I'm glad it worked out for Robert. He timed it perfectly, so that's good to hear.
It's so funny because it's timing. Right?
Oh, well, that's sure.
It's so ridiculous because he could have went up there, put 25. The guy rolls a 6, then a 7.
Yeah,
You're
sure.
like,
right. You get, I lost $25. Instead, he
Right.
turned 25 into 700 something.
$700.
Yep.
Why can't work be that easy?
What?
Why can't work be that easy?
What? Where you?
Our jobs, our normal lives. Why can't we just go in and, here's your 700, go home?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not all that easy at the craps table either,
No.
right? So, all right. A follow-up call from Ryan.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, this is Ryan from Ontario, California. Just wanted to give you a trip update. Just got back from Vegas. I played mostly at the Aliente Casino out there in northern Las Vegas. I made a bunch of baseball bets, so I won a 9-team parlay, which got me $1,900. I took that over, took about 500 to the craps table, was playing that. I did all right, not much to show for it, but had about $15 left, and I was like, well, I'm not going to play this. So I walked away, and 3-card poker table was sitting open, so I sat down and played $15. The lady said, just one hand? And I was like, yeah, just one. And she gave me one hand, and I got 3 6s right off the bat for 280-something bucks. So I played one hand, I got up, put that in my pocket for another day.
That's sweet.
Total on the trip, I was still up about $1,600. I was on my way home back to California, and I had to stop at State Line.
Of course.
Played on their mini craps table over there at Buffalo Bills, and this older gentleman kept rolling and rolling. If the fire bet was there, he would have hit the 6-point fire bet and just rolled forever. Ended up being at State Line for another 6 hours, and I made another, $3,000-$4,000.
That sounds like me and my dad.
My hard ways. I can hear Dr. Mike in the back of my head saying, parlay it, parlay it. And I kept doing it, and he kept hitting them. And I actually, at one point, said, there's actually a doctor that tells me I need to parlay these. And everyone kind of looked at me crazy, and the guy 2 shooters to the left says, is that Dr. Mike?
Oh, my
I kind of
God.
looked at him funny. He's like, you can bet on that? He's all, I know exactly who you're talking about. So we talked about the podcast for a while, and he's a listener, hasn't met up with you guys or anything, but we're both looking forward to it. So I talked to him. He actually lived about 15 minutes from me, and we're thinking about making a trip down to Harrah's. So hopefully we can get together with you guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
You're you're a big time internet celebrity.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Isn't that funny? Two guys meeting at a table.
That's great. That's great. A Dr. Mike. Everybody knows you.
Well, who else would tell you to parlay your hard
Nobody.
base?
Nobody would. Oh, that's great. All right, next call from Brian.
Hey guys, haven't called in a long time, but this is Brian from Southern California. You made a comment in your last podcast about players betting red and black on blackjack or both sides of the game on baccarat. And there is a case where you might want to do this. I've done it myself, in fact. When you get casino dollars, money that you have to gamble in order to claim any winnings as part of a bonus or, get your losings back or that kind of deal from a casino game. Baccarat, betting both sides, if they'll let you do it, is not a bad way to turn $100 of casino money into 40, 50, maybe if you're lucky, bucks of actual money. If I remember the math right, and I haven't checked it in a while, I think Baccarat is actually the better way to do it because you don't have to worry about the green spots on the roulette wheel. That's it. Love the show. Have a good day. Talk to you later.
Yeah, good point, Brian, especially if, like we were saying before, they're chips that stay out there when they win.
Well, if they stay out there, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
You can actually get more than 50%.
If they stay out there, you could conceivably get 100%.
Right.
If they stay out there,
you can get more than 50.
Sure.
But if they do not stay out there, let's say they collect and win or lose, the best you can do betting both sides is 50%.
That would be the best that you could do.
The very best you could do would be 50%. Right. So in that case, I'd still rather go to like video poker.
Oh yeah, sure. But here's the real thing: is will the casino let you do this?
Yeah,
there are. I would say most casinos will not let you bet both sides with free play chips.
Probably not.
I think even at Harrah's Southern California, if you have those free play, you can't put one on don't pass and one on pass.
Yeah, let's ask.
Let's check.
Ask.
But that would be the thing is I'm sure there are plenty of casinos. Oh, you can't bet black and red at the same time. You can't bet player and banker at the same time with the free play.
Right.
So it's going to depend on the casino. All right. We got a report from Sean on the Emerald Princess Casino cruise out of Jekyll Island, Georgia.
Hey guys, this is Sean calling from Augusta, Georgia. As you can tell from where I'm from, not a whole lot of gambling around here. Usually you got to drive about 4 hours to get to Harrah's in Cherokee, North Carolina, or Best Bet for Jacksonville to play some poker. But I wanted to tell you about a recent casino boat I went on out of Jekyll Island in Georgia. Actually, great odds for being a casino boat. I was expecting some really, really poor odds. But the blackjack tables paid 3-2. Dealers stood on all 17s, and I think it was 4 decks. But great odds. I mean, you can bet whatever you want. Started from 5, I think up to 500 to about. But I actually did horrible there. I was all excited about the odds and then just couldn't win a hand to save my life.
Yeah.
So made my way over to the craps table, which I think you could bet up to 5 times odds. I'm just now getting into craps. Really, after listening to you guys, it really made me want to get into craps even more. Just how much fun you guys have and everyone that calls in. And so I actually went and bought a 8-foot craps table to put in my little game room at the house, which I now call a casino since I've got a craps table, a poker table,
that's sweet.
Yes.
Blackjack table, and all that. But ended up winning a lot of money. For me, I'm a low roller. $5 bet is pretty much all I do. I'll do a hard weight here and there for $1. But I ended up hitting a couple of those, which was fun, and tried parlaying them, like Dr. Mike would say to do. And unfortunately, that didn't work out. But I ended up winning, I think, almost $300, just basically playing a pass line and a couple of come bets here and there. But I had a great time, and I want to thank y'all for that, because really I had tried craps before and never could win to save my life. And now I actually finally won some money, so now I'm excited to play even more and going out to Vegas in October. So looking forward to trying it out there. But just want to give y'all a recap that apparently casino boats have some pretty good odds if you can get on one. Thanks for everything you guys do. I really enjoy listening to your podcast. Thanks.
That's great about the Emerald Princess, especially blackjack. 3-2 and stand on all 17s. That's great.
That's amazing because
it is this day and age,
Well, they've got you. I mean, a casino kind of has you too, right?
Yeah.
But a cruise ship,
you're stuck there.
You're really stuck there, right? You can't just I'm going to go to the next cruise ship that comes along. You're really stuck there. They could pretty much say anything, and if you want to gamble, you just live with it, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's some good news. All right, a follow-up call from Josh.
Hey guys, Josh from Chicago. I just wanted to call and tell you a little story about the Horseshoe in Indiana. Went last night and played craps table, $5 table. I cashed in for just a small amount. Had a good little run. The table was on fire. The numbers hitting left and right. A couple points were made. A couple times I got close to hitting the all tall, all smalls. Everybody at the table's making money, and then a guy walks up mid-roll and buys in for a big amount, like $2,000 or something like that. I usually don't believe in superstitions and stuff like that, but as soon as he bought in, next roll is a 7. The rest of the night, the table went cold. I was up for a little bit, and then after he bought in and the table went cold, lost everything that we came with. And my question is, when do you feel comfortable walking away, or is there a particular time you're going to walk away if you're up big or the table goes cold? Enjoy your show. Hopefully you hear a response. Keep up the good work.
Okay. When should you walk away?
Yeah.
Now, what I would say is set some limits for yourself. Say, okay, if I've won X amount of dollars, I'm going to walk away. Or if I've lost Y amount of dollars, I'm going to walk away.
Or if I'm going to play 5 hours,
yes,
and then I'm going to leave. I'm going to, I got to go at 1. I'm going to leave right at 1.
So that's my advice. Now, Dr. Mike, why don't you take it from here and tell our listeners when we walk away?
We walk away when, well, no, that's actually kind of hard because we do walk away sometimes when it gets too late. It's
okay,
like,
sure.
We're down and we'd love to stay longer and try and recoup, but it's too late. We got to go.
So it's like 2:33 in the morning. We're at Harris.
Yeah,
we got to head home.
Go. Yeah. I got a patient at 8 in the morning, right?
Right.
No, but we do have time limits, time constraints is our probably nowadays. That's our biggest
certainly
thing.
For just our trips to the local casino.
Casino. Now, when we're in Vegas, it's either we're so damn tired we got to go to bed, right?
Yeah.
We're injured, so we got to go to bed, or we're busted and we got to go to bed. Otherwise, we keep playing.
Okay, that's going to bed. But let's say it's 12 noon and we're at a table. Really, we just leave if we've lost. If it's just going bad.
Lost. We leave when we're not having fun.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Sometimes we're winning and we're not having
fun. Sure. If it's a bad crew, that could absolutely be the case.
And we could be ahead. We do leave, and we go to another table.
Yes.
It's not like we stop gambling. We just go to another table.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at is when we're in Vegas, we really don't stop because that's just what we do.
That's our time in Vegas.
Yeah.
That is what we do. So, we leave and go to another table.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes even losing all of our money doesn't really make us stop.
That's right.
We just go get more money.
Spoken like the host of a recreational gambling podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Let's hear from Kelly.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Kelly from Utah, first-time caller. And a couple of things. We are getting ready to go to Vegas tonight. This morning our water heater went out, but it's taken care of, and luckily it did not mess up our travel plans. Second of all, I am catching up on old episodes, and I really enjoyed Dr. Mike's Mesquite trip report because we love going over to Mesquite every few weeks, and we almost always have a great time there. There's some really good people working over at the Eureka, and I'm glad Dr. Mike had a good time and that they treated them well. And finally, because I am binge listening to old episodes, I think I hear things just a few hours apart that occurred months apart in reality. So I notice things that you otherwise might not. And one of the funniest things I've noticed is that Mark cannot simply say the word milieu in a sentence. He has to go milieu and drag it out. And I'm only pointing it out because it's hilarious. I don't want him to stop doing it because it makes me laugh every time. I really enjoyed the podcast. I appreciate you guys doing it. I hope I get to meet you in Vegas someday because we do go periodically. If you don't mind having a new person in your milieu, like I said, I look forward to meeting you guys and love the podcast. Thank you.
See, sometimes the word milieu is just the perfect word to describe something.
Yeah.
But I can't pretend that a $10 word like milieu is part of my everyday vocabulary. So I'm self-conscious about it. So I have to go milieu. Well, of course I don't actually say that in everyday conversation.
So last night, it's funny she brings this up.
All right.
Because last night my daughter says to, we're watching TV, and my oldest daughter says to my wife and I and our youngest daughter, what's your favorite word to say?
Okay.
What is your favorite word to say? So what would you say your favorite word to say is?
Well, I guess it's milieu.
I think it is.
What's your favorite word to say?
Oh,
I bet it's Mohegan.
Yeah, I like Mohegan.
Right?
I do love Mohegan. Mohegan. Balderdash.
Oh, yeah, sure. That's a great word.
Balderdash.
Yeah.
Now, that's a good word.
Sure, yeah.
Balderdash.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it just sounds like highfalutin.
Yeah, exactly.
And I told my daughter too, serendipity.
Yeah.
is a word I
serendipitous.
always kind of liked. It's a happy word.
Yeah, it's how,
You know, we should use that more.
Okay.
You know, every time
We'll
we
just say-
run into somebody, like say Victor just shows up
Yeah,
at
say,
Harris,
"Oh,
we'll say,
no."
"Oh, how serendipitous!"
Yeah, nice.
Or
Yeah,
something like that.
That's
Yeah,
a good word.
So my daughter's favorite word
Yeah.
is cummerbund.
Cummerbund.
Yeah.
Okay.
For cummerbund. And I said, "Do you even know what a cummerbund is?" And she goes, "Yeah, that's that thing you wear in your suit over the middle. I don't know what it does, but I love saying cummerbund." We laughed all night about that.
Nice.
Now, Grace's favorite word is a word she made up, mangelady.
Mangelady?
Mangelady.
Okay.
It's a person who you can't really tell if it's a man or a woman.
good.
Kind of like Pat from
SNL, yeah.
From SNL. She calls people like that mangelady.
Mangelady. All right, nice.
Mesquite was great, though.
Yes, yes, yeah, you had a good
I
report
really
from it,
had
yeah.
a good time in Mesquite. And she's right, the people were super nice.
That's great.
So, makes sense, a small town like that, you know, they have no reason to be not nice.
Well, yeah, right. And it's great if you live in Utah, you know, just hop over there, depending on where in Utah you live. But yeah, that's great. Yeah. Okay, next up is Pete.
Hey, Dr. Mike and Mark, I hope all is well. Out here downtown Vegas for a little bachelor party. Just thought I'd let you know and the listeners know as well about a nice little promotion going on at the Golden Gate Casino. If you fly Allegiant into Las Vegas and within 24 hours go to your Players Club and sign up there, you get $50 in match play. Also, Spirit Airlines does the same thing if you go to the D. So, for those value shoppers airline-wise, it's a pretty good deal. I am currently sitting at the bar at Main Street Station, and right next to me I see 9-6 Jacks or Better. It's right there. Staff's pretty friendly. They also have their own brewery here, so they have their own craft beers. And just again, giving some tricks and tips to maybe the gambler on a budget. So, hey, thanks. Love the show. Hope all is well.
Good. Yeah. Thanks, Pete. That's great advice on
that's
the
nice
airlines for the D and Golden Gate.
And
Yeah,
the
that's great
9-6.
advice. Well, you know, Main Street Station has always had a good reputation when it comes to video poker pay
Right.
tables. So, yeah, this just kind of confirms that.
Yeah, we need to go there. We had good craps last time.
We did
were
have
there.
good craps. However, let's listen to this next call from Ryan. Mike, you have not heard this call yet.
Okay.
You're not going to be happy after you hear this call.
All
let's
right,
listen.
let's hear it.
Hey guys, Ryan again from Southern California. I went downtown on this Las Vegas trip and I played at Main Street. I've never had a problem with Main Street, but I know you guys have. I played there with my dad and my dad's buddy, you know, and they're playing, having a good time. Well, my dad's buddy recently watched one of those videos on YouTube about dice setting and dice control, and he doesn't really believe in it, but he's like, you know what, I'm going to try it. So he was setting his dice, and he wasn't taking a long time. You know, when the dice would pass to him, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, and he already had the dice and he was setting it. He was holding them a certain way and he was throwing it, and he went on a great roll. He rolled for about 35, 40 minutes, and the pit boss is standing behind him the whole time watching him. So he finally craps out, and the dice are going to go on to my dad, and they go to pass the dice, and the pit boss standing behind us goes, skip these two, pointing to me and my dad, says, skip these two. And we turn around and say, why? And he doesn't really give us an answer. And then we're like, what the hell's going on? You know, we're kind of getting pissed off. And he goes, you guys are setting the dice, doing dice control. And we're like, what? You know, it's not like the guy went on a 4-hour roll. So he skipped us. We cashed out and left. And, I mean, we were steaming. We were so upset. I mean, went over to Golden Gate, ended up playing, and everything was better. But we told the guys at Golden Gate about it, and they could not believe what had happened. Also, at Main Street, during a roll, there was a dice that landed up on the stack of chips by the dealers, all the big stacks. It was a 7, and they called it a 7 out. And I said, that's a no roll up there. And they said, 7 out, right away, and passed on the dice. I don't know what the hell's going on with that place, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to go on a bad beat craps run. We're going to go to Main Street. We're going to go to Binion's. We don't have to buy in for something crazy. Buy in for $100, but we're going to make these people have a good time. We're going to make these dealers have a good time with us. I don't know what's going on with these casinos, and some of these dealers are in such bad moods, but, man, it sure does make craps, you know, not very fun when they're playing it. All right, guys, thanks a lot.
That's ridiculous. You're right. That is absolutely ridiculous.
We have talked about having bad service at places and being upset about it, but then going back and, giving them another chance. If this had happened to us,
we'd never
go back
again.
Can you imagine? Oh, skip this guy. You're doing dice control.
Yeah.
What an idiot. He's an idiot for two reasons. Idiot believing that that's what was happening.
Right.
And an idiot that's the way you treat customers.
Right.
And then on top of that, Ryan is absolutely right. When one of the dice lands in the bank,
it's a
the
no
chips
roll.
In front of the boxman, it is a no roll at every casino.
I have never seen it not be a no roll.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's
ridiculous.
I know.
And you know me, I'm not a letter writer.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'll get pissed and I'll leave, but I just never take the time. I'd write a letter about this. I'd tell them that is so crappy, and I'm going to tell everyone I know never to come here again.
Mm-hmm. And you had mentioned, Mike, last time we were there, we had a good experience, but the prior time
we did not.
This boxman was terrible to us.
Right.
So this is a terrible story.
Dice control. Yeah, you should have told. Yeah, watch this. Look at my hands. Look at my hands. I'm going to make a 6 come up. If I could control the dice, I'd have hard 6 come up every roll.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I would be doing. It'd be hard 6 every roll.
Well, now, Mike, in all fairness, people who believe in dice control, they don't think you can roll exactly the thing you want every time. It just reduces the number of 7s. Oh, my God. Okay, fine. Even if you believe that, here's Ryan's dad's buddy who just happened to watch a YouTube video. I think I'll start doing that. Man, if it's that easy, we got to start doing that.
We got to start watching more YouTube.
well, that's a given.
See, now, if you could watch a YouTube and repeat something and be great, I should be like, in the NBA. I should be fighting Mayweather.
Yeah, that's good. Right? It might be a little more even fight than
might be a little more
McGregor
even
getting
fight.
there. Yeah, exactly. Okay, next call.
Hey, boys, this is Scott from Boston, just calling with a little trip report and a couple of questions for you. I just got back from Vegas and had some great fun at the craps tables. I've got to advise my fellow shooters, though, don't stay at Wynn Encore. I stayed up there because my conference was there, but, they have crappy odds there. They have this 2x odds situation, and, the dealers are fine, but 2x odds, right? But if you want to go play at a Caesars or an M Life table and, earn some comps, it's a long walk from there. And even a long Uber sometimes, depending on the time of week or time of year, like when it's electric daisy time. So I did a lot of walking getting to the Cromwell and Mirage and Cosmo and other places that I wanted to shoot. I had a question about that 2x odds. Maybe you guys know, because if you bet over 25, it was different. So it was just 2x for 25 and under. But for a $30 come bet or pass line bet, you could put double on the 4 and 10, so 60 odds on a $30 bet, 80 on the 5 and 9, and 100 on 6 and 8. And I was explaining this to a dealer at the Mirage, and he's like, oh yeah, that's what they call true 2x odds. That's how they used to do 2x odds. It made no sense to me. How is that 2x? It's not 3, 4, 5. It's not anything. And I tried to get the Wynn guys to explain it to me, and they couldn't. So I'm wondering if you guys have any idea what this weird scheme is.
It's very similar to the full 5 times odds that we talked about kind of recently. And in fact, we got an email from listener Rick, who used to be a craps dealer. And he was saying that this kind of evolved over time to make payouts easier.
It makes the payouts easier for the staff.
Right. Now, why it's called true double odds is beyond me, because that, when you hear the word true, you'd think, okay, true double, right?
Double,
I've heard full double odds, which at least, you can interpret full. Yeah. So I think that's a better way to describe it. But it's going to depend on the casino. It's going to depend on the staff. We've talked about it before, and nobody's going to give you a reason like, okay, you're probably not going to get a good reason from people. And depending on the staff, the crew, the shift,
Right.
You know, you may be told different amounts.
Yeah. Well, here at Hollywood Casino, right here in San Diego, they have
full five
times odds.
Mm-hmm.
And every time we've played there, which isn't that many times, but every time we've played there, there's been discrepancies on how much odds I can take.
Yeah, that's right.
And they always have
Nobody's
to go
on the same
check with
page.
somebody.
Yeah.
Nobody's on the same page. Eventually, somebody comes on, yeah, it's full 5 times odds, so he can bet up to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But they always have to ask.
What's so funny to me, though, in this case, is Wynn is offering only double odds, right? And it's like, we'll let you go a little bit further. Well, you know, if I go down the street, I could take 100 times odds. What do you think of that?
Yeah, Steve Wynn should. Oh, boy.
All right.
I don't even want to get started on him.
All right, back to Scott.
So my strategy was I'm never going to earn comps from playing Ed Wynn and Encore. I'm just not a big enough player. I'm not going to win much comps. But, you know, Caesars and M Life maybe. So while I'm in town for 3 days for a conference, I'm going to pick a day to play at a Caesars place, pick a day to play at an M Life place, and then pick a day to play at Cosmo, because those are 3 places I really wanted to see if I could get some good offers. And I had $6K for my gambling budget for so I figured, all right, so 3 $2K sessions. So that was my theory, and we'll see how it works, but I just wonder what you guys think of that, sort of concentrating your play one day here, one day here, one day here, to keep the average daily theoretical up and not kind of water down the play. And, so I just thought I'd get your feedback on that strategy. Thanks for your great show, guys. I love it. And I'm headed out to Cali in a few months for work. I'm going to definitely see if I can talk you guys into a casino trip. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
I love that
Yeah,
strategy.
that's great. Great strategy.
I love that strategy.
Yep.
It makes perfect sense, right? Condense your play into one place all day. Get a bunch of points. Your daily average is high. Hopefully your 2K will last the whole day, you know, and you won't have to.
Yeah, it's perfect, because if instead he played a third of the time each day at each of the 3 different places, then the daily theoretical for all 3 will be just a third.
Right.
33% of what it would be otherwise, and you're still gambling the same amount. So
of money. This
condensing
way,
your play,
you're going to get way more free play. You're going to get way more offers. I mean, they don't care that you came 3 days. They care what you did in that one day.
Yep, that's typically how they rate. You know, the
and they don't know
get.
you. You may only be in Vegas for a day, so they're thinking, "Hey, this guy came. He played all day. He did good. Let's get him back here."
Yep.
That's what you're going to get offers from.
Yeah, definitely. All right, final call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. Justin from Minnesota calling for a late March 2nd and 3rd rounds of the NCAA tournament trip. Started out gambling at the Orleans the first night. Never really stayed there. I've done a little bit of gambling, but nothing very extensive, and nothing could go right. Dice was especially brutal. I think my buddy and I counted that 13 points in a row were missed. So switched over to blackjack. This is poor. Video poker was not kind either. Mid-trip was some gambling, not too much because it was in such a hole after the first day. But the last day, we just decided we need to move downtown and use some of the American Casino Guide coupons. And we actually had a run of a lifetime, we meaning the lady and I think we were 5 for 6 on the $25 match bet coupons at SLS, the D, and Golden Gate. Ended up at El Cortez that night playing a $5 single deck game, and noticed for a little bit that there was a man in a suit standing right next to me, kind of watching over my friend and I play. Like maybe they were worried we were counting, which was not the case. And him and I were betting just $5 to $10, nothing expensive. So keep that in mind if you're playing El Cortez. They think that everyone's counting, and they are going to have some heat on you. Anyways, guys, that's it. Going back out to Vegas in a few days, so hoping to have another trip report for you soon. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, good advice. If you're at El Cortez and you're spreading from $5 to $10, careful.
You must be counting.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh my God, he went up to $10.
That's right. Reshuffle. Shuffle right now. He's behind you.
Pull out the crappy steaks tonight. We can't afford this here.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, that's
ridiculous.
I know, it's so silly.
It's so stupid.
That's going to do it for this episode. Oh, we wanted to mention, so coming up Friday, June 30th, a new movie comes out called The House. A lot of people maybe have already heard about it because it definitely is gambling related. It stars Will Ferrell and Amy Poehler. They play a mother and father who blow their daughter's college fund and start an illegal casino in their basement to recoup the losses.
Yeah,
So-
we're in your basement.
I know
right
that's
now.
where we are. This is it. This is
our
the
illegal
yeah,
casino.
Exactly. So hopefully it's good. It's probably something that we're going to enjoy, regardless. Probably the only thing we'd complain about is maybe some minutia in the gambling. It's, it's like, well, that's not how it really works. But hopefully it's funny. I certainly like them. So, yeah. Hey, we want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, recurring donations from Zach. Thanks very much, as well as Brian and Sarah. Thanks. We really appreciate it. Also, our buddy Victor, he says, off to Vegas Monday. Wish you were coming to spread it inside. Yeah. What does that mean?
I hope
Sort
he's
of
talking
disgusting.
about betting the 5, 6, 8,
Yeah, actually,
9.
he did send us an amount that would correspond to betting all the inside numbers and
numbers.
crap. So I think that's what he's talking about. Also from Brenda, thanks very much for the donation. And from Brian, thank you very much. And, we don't mention people's last names when we talk about PayPal donations. I'm never sure if people really want their last names said. So if you do, if you want us to say your last name, please let us know.
We appreciate everybody.
Oh, absolutely. It's so
regardless
generous.
of-
Yeah, we really do.
I mean, it's overly generous.
Yes, I
And
agree.
we've talked about this.
Yeah, we have off mic.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's just overly generous. A lot of weird things in this world,
Mhm.
but there are a lot of good people.
Yeah, there really
I
are.
mean, there really are. And when you see them like we see them and we play with them, and not just people who send in PayPal donations or
Mhm.
something, but people we play with at the casino and stuff, there are so many good people.
Yeah.
I'd like people to start focusing on that.
Okay. Yeah.
Two things. Focus on all the good people in the world.
Okay.
Focus on hard 6 and hard 8.
All right. You've heard it,
You
Dr.
do
Mike.
that, and
Right?
your life is going to be pretty damn good.
Doctor's orders. Be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program. To search through all the raw American TV data, just go to youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonThat. We tweet when we're heading to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, supposedly, it helps us get new listeners. Dr. Mike.
You know what I've been thinking about all week, Mark?
What's that?
Is one of our favorite dealers out at Harris Rincon
Mhm.
a few weeks ago, who she gambles.
She shall remain nameless. Mhm.
And she's a sweet, nicest person
Yeah,
you'd ever
she's great.
want to meet.
Mhm.
And she was saying that, she was going to make a bet, but she was so afraid
Mhm.
to make that bet.
Yeah.
And I was telling her, you know what? It's what we do. And she's like one of us. Don't be afraid. Just make the bet.
Just make the bet.
Just make the bet. Because the bottom line in all that is, even if she loses that bet, she's
Mm-hmm.
still a great human being. She's a great person.
Yeah.
She's a nice person. Sure, it might affect her life a little bit, but she'll get over it. She'll get through it.
All right.
I've been thinking about her all week.
Yeah. We should have some t-shirts made up. Just make the bet.
Just make the bet.
Yeah, maybe the Nike swoosh
we'll,
in there.
We'll wear just make the bet shirts, and
Uh-huh.
my dad will get a t-shirt that says "This casino's crap."
Yeah, that's right. We'll have to have those made up. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.